Turning now to Storm Watch 12 meteorologist Joshua Colbreth in the Weather Center. Josh, what are we looking at for rain-wise, snow-wise? I know you're talking about seeing some snow, but it's not going to be sticking, correct?
At least not in the Rogue Valley, and at least not right now. Now that could change a little bit later this morning. We'll have to keep tabs on the temperatures in Medford and Grants Pass, but here are some of those snow showers that are flowing in from the northwest. Very hit and miss this morning, but primarily along and west of the Cascades. So we'll track the progression of this with Stormcast, and by the time we get to lunchtime, I think eventually we'll have some snow showers that will start to fire up over on the east side too. So we'll continue to deal with that into the evening. Snow levels will raise up a little bit later today, and we'll take a look at some of those snow levels here in just a second. But into tonight, we're going to dry out for the east side and for Siskiyou County, but then into Tuesday, we're going to go through the exact same cycle where everything starts off along and west of the Cascades. Everything fires up and transitions to portions of the east side, and then into the evening I think will be a little bit drier for Tuesday evening as opposed to this evening, and Wednesday should be one of the drier days that we'll have for this week. Here's some of these rainfall and snowfall projections through Tuesday night. So this is if you took all the rainfall, if you melted down all the snowfall, and then you combine those two, and it's going to be the Cascades and coast that'll be the big winners. But these totals are definitely less dramatic compared to some of the totals that we saw for last week. Snow levels are going to stay very low over the next 48 hours, only peaking at around 2,000 feet today. So that means that places like Ashland and Sexton Summit and Jacksonville Hill will almost exclusively see snow today. Then they'll fall down to around 500 feet overnight. So that means we could see a transition back to snow in places like Medford and Phoenix and Jacksonville, and then snow levels coming up to around 2,500 feet for Tuesday, so just a smidge higher than what we're going to see for today. So here are some of those snowfall projections we'll see through Tuesday night, and again, this map is definitely a lot less colorful compared to what we saw just a few days back, but we could still get upwards of maybe half a foot to a little bit more than that in some of our highest terrain of the Cascades and Siskiyous. I think Mount Ashland could receive some nice fresh powder. So still adding to the snowpack this late in the wet season, that is certainly a good problem to find ourselves in. Also, winds are going to be a pretty big issue for this storm system again, especially for the coast and the east side, as winds could gust upwards of 40 to 50 miles per hour. So for today, we'll have to deal with the winds and the cold temperatures and those hit and miss snow showers, mainly in elevations above 2,500 feet and mainly along and west of the Cascades. Then overnight, the winds will start to back down a little bit. I think we'll dry out for the east side and for most of Siskiyou County, but take a look at these temperatures for inland areas. Pretty much all of them are going to be below freezing, which means that we'll, in all likelihood, have some very slick spots on those roadways this morning. So you can see no high impact weather days over the next 7 days, still dealing with some moderate impacts here or there, especially for Thursday. We're getting a little concerned about Thursday because snow levels are going to be so high, anywhere between 4,000 to 6,500 feet. So that means we could have rain falling on top of existing snowpack, and that could pose a risk for some localized flooding. So we'll keep a very close eye on that. Here's your 7-day forecast for the coast. Very wet over the next 6 days, then drying out just in time for Easter Sunday, I think. For Siskiyou County, we will see pretty much the same pattern where we're going to be wet and cool up until Sunday. When look at that, we could have a decent amount of sunshine. Temperatures flirting with 70 degrees. And then for the east side, we could have temperatures getting into the mid-60s. So, of course, there's a whole week of weather to talk about, but I think everyone's going to be focused on the weekend because it's going to be our first feels like spring kind of weekend. We'll likely see some snow melt up in the Cascades because of those rising snow levels and the rising temperatures. And then for the Rogue Valley, a couple different chances for snow today and tomorrow, but how about that? Sunny and 72 for Easter Sunday.
All right, thank you, Josh. So, you know what they say, I mean, we're going to see lots of rain. But April showers bring May flowers.
You know what May flowers bring, right? Pilgrims.
No. There you go.
Yep.
Great one. All right. Thank you, Josh.
Of course.